water that is downstream of the Ainsel River underground. And wherever rot appears, the kindred of rot appear as well. These are pests, servants of the rot. And now, in the current age, these are servants that have been forsaken by Millennia, who is their new goddess. So, this blind swordsman with the flowing curved sword actually went on to become Millennia's mentor. So technically it's him that we have to blame for this goddamn attack. The prosthesis wearer Ella tells us more. A talisman engraved with a scene from a heroic tale. Though born into the accursed rot, when the elder encountered her mentor and his flowing blade, she gained wings of parallel strength. Millennia's ridiculous attack is called the Waterfowl Dance. Aesthetically, it makes sense that flowing waters counter the effects of rot. For just as still waters turn foul, stagnation turns to decay. Thus, warriors must remain ever drifting. And indeed, Millennia does resist the call of the rot. There's a lot of evidence that she's not really a willing vessel, but through sheer will and sense of self, she resists the rot. Only when she is truly pressed in battle will she abandon this will and bloom into the goddess within. Millennia's first bloom was during her fight against Rahdan. Releasing her scarlet rot was a last-ditch effort that would forever tame the land of Caleb and cripple Rahdan. So, whatever she was fighting for in this fight against Rahdan, somehow it was worth this terrible act. In general terms, at least, it's clear that Millennia was fighting for her brother. Apart from the times where she relapses into being the goddess of rot, she is known as the Blade of Mikola. She actually goes to great lengths to tell you this. I don't know if you heard. Despite being the toughest boss in From Software history, she's actually fighting for his right to godhood, not her own. In Millennia's own words, her brother Mikola possesses the wisdom, the allure of a god. He is the most fearsome Imperium of all. For his part, Mikola did a lot to earn his sister's dedication, not the least of which was inspiring her armor and a prosthetic of unalloyed gold. It's not just his sister that loved Mikola, many people did. The Bewitching Branch is an item that you can use to turn enemies into temporary allies, and it reads, "Indeed, he has learned very well how to compel such affection." For his father Radigan, Mikola fashioned and gifted to him a fundamentalist incantation called Triple Rings of Light. Radigan then returns the favor, gifting back an incantation called Radigan's Rings of Light. These interactions show some of Mikola's positive connections with his father and also Golden Order fundamentalism. And yet, the young Mikola abandoned fundamentalism, for it could do nothing to treat Millennia's accursed rot. This was the beginning of unalloyed gold. So, what is unalloyed gold? Well, an alloy is a composition of metals, so unalloyed gold is pure gold, essentially, with no external mixtures. This gold apparently can ward away the metal of outer gods. So Mikola bent a lot of his efforts towards creating an unalloyed gold needle. Specifically, this needle was crafted for his sister to ward off the rot god and forestall the effects of the incurable rotting sickness. We see the bond between the siblings as well when we visit Mikola's Halig tree. We see a statue of a one-armed woman embracing child Mikola. In this place, we see the biggest example of Mikola's benevolence, the Halig tree, and the society that was built into the brace that supports him. This was a promised land, seen as a salvation to many who were shunned or persecuted, provided that they could actually find the path here, of course. And like many other Imperiums, Mikola seems to have had the will within them to create a new order. His was an order that someone modeled the ones that came before it. The biggest thing is that the Halig tree is clearly inspired by the Earth tree. But the difference is that Mikola's Halig tree is said to be accepting of all, even those the Earth tree shuns. Mikola himself was once embedded inside of the Halig tree, and he watered it with his very own blood, since it was a mere sapling. Tragically, however, he was ripped out of this womb during the shattering, and his Halig tree